Okay, I think I got it set up. Hi guys, welcome back to my Enlisted to Ensign Journey. This is episode 2. Before I tell you guys what happened or how I got selected for NCP, I have to rewind the story a little bit because honestly, I almost never got the chance to apply. So at the beginning of 20, no, not at the beginning. 2024, I re-enlisted for another 6 years. So technically, my EAOS, it's still saying 2030. I was getting my SRB. That's why I hesitated even submitting my conditional release in case I get selected for NCP or MISEP. By the way, you can route both at the same time. It has to be two different things. 1306 conditional release in case you get selected for NCP, and then 1306 conditional release in case you get selected for MISEP. It's better to route both at the same time if you're in the process when you watch this. But I knew in my head if I didn't at least try, I'd always gonna have that what if. So I submit my 1306 requesting for a conditional release. So at that time, I was at HSC 20, HSC 5 night keepers. It's a CAG squadron, carrier air wing squadron. If you're in aviation, you already know that being undermanned and preparing for deployment is not a good combination. My maintenance leadership did not recommend, no surprise there, my conditional request. And honestly, I wasn't even mad. I understood why, because they weren't trying to stop my dream. They were just trying to support the mission. But here's something I didn't know back then. Even if your immediate chain did not recommend you, the request doesn't stop there. It continues to go up to the final approving authority, which is the CO. So same thing with your routing your leave, your personal leave. So a couple weeks has passed and I still hasn't heard anything back regarding my 1306 paperworks. And I don't know, I was like, I didn't even wanna bring it up because I was just waiting. I didn't know what to expect at that point. But one day I ran into my CO in the hallway. I said, "Good morning, sir." I think he remembered my face and he stopped me for a quick update on my paperwork. He said that he was still talking with our maintenance officer because he saw that it was not recommended by him. So it was still on hold. At that point, I had already accepted that maybe this just wasn't going to happen. I told him, "It's okay, sir. Maybe this isn't my year. I'll try again next year." To swallowed my tears. Now I'm just playing. I didn't cry. Or maybe I did. But I remember walking out the flight line and thinking that God's got a plan for me. Everything happens for a reason. I remember thinking that while heading over there, out there. But same day he talked to me about shift change. A little bit later on, he was staying late. He told me to go up to his office that he was gonna tell me something, and he showed me that my paperwork is approved. So we just gotta give it to NC1, my career counselor, to submit it to PERS. Yes. So I finally got the green light. I remember feeling relieved because after all that waiting, after all that waiting, I finally had the chance to compete. So honestly, that's all I wanted, a chance. So I submitted everything in June for both MISEP and NCP because MISEP last year the deadline was June, and for NCP the package is not due until September. But I submitted everything to my recruiter, and for MISEP as well, I already submitted my package to Bethesda. Then July came and we had a change of command. My XO became our new CO, which meant I had to redo all the recommendation letters, all the endorsement letter, it was on top of on top of like the deployment qualifications that we got to do. It was busy few months, but somehow he was able to get my package squared up. By September, my package was officially submitted. Now all I could do was wait. Then November came. It was a chaos. If you've ever been on board, like waiting for a board in the Navy, even if it's just a regular board for ranking up, it was brutal. The waiting was brutal. But this one, it was a chaos because they and MISEP and NCP announced it over by the weekend. So some people got phone calls, some people didn't, and then MISEP, after a few days, MISEP selectees were announced, and my name wasn't there. I did not get selected for MISEP, and I didn't had any phone calls or no news from my recruiter either for NCP. So I was like, this just wasn't it. This is not my year. Then I came in, I was working nights when my chief came up to me and said, go to the CEO's office. So I immediately thought, what did I do wrong? Did I sign the wrong math, or like, what did I do wrong? I walked into the office, the whole chain of command was there, Triad, Maintenance Master Chief, Devo, everybody. And then they did this classic Navy thing. They make you think that you're like you did something wrong, like you're in trouble, had you sweating for a minute. And then my CEO smiled at me, handed me a paper. He said, "Congratulations, 82, you got selected to NCP." So I don't even remember what really happened after that. I just remember walking out of the office thinking, wow, this is really happening. So looking back, the biggest thing I took away from that experience wasn't just the getting selected part. It was seeing what good leadership looks like. Because my skipper could have just looked at me as another number, another CDI, another worker, another mech leaving a squadron. But instead, he saw someone chasing a dream, and that stuck with me. So I hope one day when I'm officially wearing officer rank, I hope I can be that kind of leader to someone. Fast forward to today, I've checked out of HSC 5 and now at HSC 2, which is a short command. I received my FinCell, or my final selection letter from my recruiter, and I am now processing my DD 214 before I take my oath to NCP. And it's honestly crazy to think that none of this would have happened if I had talked myself out of submitting that one piece of paper, my 1306. So if you're thinking about applying for a program or chasing something that scares you, this is your sign to at least give yourself a chance. You never know where one yes can lead. That's it. Thank you guys so much for following me on this journey. I'll see you on the next one.